My name is Henry Patterson, and I am the president of Lorain Schools Alumni Association, and it is a great honor and privilege to gather again today amongst our distinguished alumni. Again, it's pretty incredible that this is now our sixth class, going back to 2018, and except for the COVID year, we've been honoring graduates of the Lorain schools that entire period of time. What will happen here is I'll kind of do a brief intro, and then we're going to have Pastor Tim Williams come down and get an invocation, and then we'll go and have breakfast, and then the program will get started again. But before I do that, if I could, real quick, if I could acknowledge any of our elected officials who are here, if you could stand briefly. Yeah, Judge Miraldi, come on. Mayor Bradley's in the back. School board members, any elected officials. Mark Ballard. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'd also like to acknowledge our board members who are in attendance. Again, what a lot of people don't realize, there are about 10, 12 of us that are working behind the scenes doing all this work. So if you are a member of our board for the Alumni Association, please stand as well and give them a round of applause. I'd also like to acknowledge any of our former distinguished alumni. If any of them are here, if you've been honored in past years, if you could stand up, please, as well. Again, congratulations, and we hope you continue to come on back each year. And then finally, I'd like to acknowledge all of our retired teachers. If you're a retired teacher, please stand up. Thank you. And then I guess lastly, if you're a current teacher, please stand on up. Any current teachers? There we go. Again, because part of today is we're honoring distinguished alumni, but we recognize that none of this would be possible without our teachers. Again, and I take a great deal of pride myself. Cynthia Jarzen is here today, and she was someone who was instrumental in my life by running the Hawthorne Academy. And so I think about it, as I told her earlier, I am who I am today because of this program back when I was in the 5th grade in 1985, which is pretty incredible. So again, thank you to all our current and former educators. With that said, if Tim Williams, if you would come on down and give the invocation, and then we'll get into breakfast.
Good morning, everyone, and I've been given instructions, which I will follow, to make sure that the prayer is no more than 6 minutes long. If you bow your heads, gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we have come to honor distinguished people who've dedicated themselves to integrity, to success, to accomplishment, and to remembering where they come from. We also thank you that we have people who acknowledge that and are grateful that they could be part of a legacy. So we praise you for the wonderful people who've prepared this, the wonderful people who have been distinguished and acknowledged for those things that they've done. Now bless us this morning, this food that we're about to eat, the fellowship we're about to have, that we would have a memory of this occasion, and we are just grateful to be here. Bless you, bless us, and all of these people. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, and make sure the food is good.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab each table, and I believe we're going to start here on the left side and work your way to the right. We'll come and release each table. I'm going to start with right here, table number 1, as well as table number 2. If you guys go ahead and get started. Thank you. So stay seated until we come to release you. Thank you. We always love the fellowship that goes on as part of the event. It's nice to see so many old friends kind of rekindle those experiences. So again, Henry Patterson, I'm the president of Lorain Schools Alumni Association, and again, I formally welcome you to our event. And as has been tradition since we first started all those years ago, I would like to invite our mayor, Jack Bradley, down to give a few comments. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're all here today, and I want to congratulate the new inductees to the Lorain Schools Alumni Hall of Fame. That is really an impressive honor. But before I start talking, I want you to know that I told Tim Williams that his prayer had to be less than 2 minutes. And now if it was Father Bill giving the prayer, I couldn't have told him that. But since Tim works for me, he's one of the safety service directors, he had to listen to me. And so he gets credit today that he was under 2 minutes, and I really appreciate that. But you know, it is a great day in Lorain, Ohio. And did you guys hear me? It is a great day in Lorain, Ohio. But one thing I wanted to, point out is I saw 5 people associated with law being inducted into this distinguished alumni group. I don't know if Henry and Tony Giardini have some influence on this, but 5 lawyers. I was at the Juneteenth festival, and they had a fellow there who was dressed up as Abraham Lincoln. And so he told a story about a priest and a lawyer going to heaven. And so they both go in front of God, and God says, "Father, come on, I'm going to take you to your new residence." So he takes them to a little bungalow. It's got 1 bedroom, living room, kitchen. That's about it. And the priest says, "Thank you, God, I really appreciate this." Well, then he takes the lawyer, and there's this big mansion. I mean, it's got 4 bedrooms, it's got a game room, everything that you could possibly want. So later on, the priest goes up to God, and he says, "Hey, God," he says, I was a priest, and you're giving me this little bungalow, and that lawyer gets this big mansion? And God said, "Hey, Father, we don't get many of these lawyers up here in heaven." So maybe Henry and Giardini are making up for all those lawyers that aren't going to make it to heaven. At least they get to be an distinguished alumni. So I don't know everyone that's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I do know the lawyers. And, Angel Arroyo, he started practicing law with me. So we practiced together, and, great lawyer, great person in the city of Lorain. One of these guys that you just knew was going to make something of himself. And he went on and had a very successful career. And he's Lorain proud. Jim Miraldi, a fellow that probably should have stayed in music, because that's his first love, as you know. But he's made a great judge. His dad was always kind of a mentor to me. And his dad would always tell me, "Hey, just make sure when you get in the newspaper that they spell your name correctly." So I've always kind of followed that advice. And but we've had some really great people that are being inducted into this Hall of Fame today. And I know that Bill Kingsley was a couple years older than me in high school. But I knew in looking at Bill Kingsley, even in high school, he was the kind of guy that I looked up to and said, "Wow, I want to be like that someday," because he was distinguished even when he was in high school. And Dave Herzer, here's a guy who went to Yale and Harvard. This is the kind of guy that's supposed to be forming a big, Wall Street type of law firm. Instead, he decides that he's going to do in Lorain what lawyers do in Cleveland. Made one of the best, most distinguished law firms, not only in Lorain County, but in the state of Ohio, and actually nationwide recognition. That's what people from Lorain do. They don't forget about their roots. They remember that when you're from Lorain, you are the best. And that's why I'm so happy to be able to welcome all these distinguished graduates today, because they make us all proud, and they are a testament to how good Lorain schools really are. We always hear the bad-mouthing about our Lorain schools. Well, guess what? We've got some of the best coming from Lorain, and we'll continue to induct people. And this program becomes bigger and better every year. And I want to compliment the committee who has put this together, and inducted so many fine graduates of Lorain schools into this Hall of Fame. It is something to be proud of and something that you would want to have your children aim for their future. So thank you all for being here, and again, congratulations to our inductees, and again, continue to all be Lorain proud. Thank you very much.
Okay, now for the next portion of the program, we're going to have actually Jay Ferguson, who is a school board member, is going to make some remarks on behalf of Dr. Graham and the district.
Thank you, Henry. Dr. Graham sends his greetings. He's in Buffalo, New York, attending his nephew's graduation, so he was unable to be here. If he were, I'm sure he would echo everything that Mayor Bradley said and welcome you to this, what is to all of you a new facility. We honor people who graduated from five high schools that no longer exist. But there are a lot of, for those of you that were Lorain school students, you'll notice that I'm standing on the lobby logo from Admiral King High School that was moved here, and the Southview lobby logo is over there. You walked in past the cornerstone to Lorain High School, and one of the really neat features in this building is if you look at the brick wall back there, you'll see that there are 3 different bricks at the far end. And then as it comes forward this way, they intermingle. And those are bricks from the 3 original buildings in Lorain that show 3 different coming into the one that we have now. You know, this building's about 10 years old, and there is just so much to be proud of. As a member of the school board and as a former teacher in the city of Lorain, I can tell you that the state of the school system is strong. 432 students graduated a couple weeks ago, the biggest class in years. 45 of those students the week before graduated from Lorain Community College with their associate's degrees. As an old math teacher, I can tell you that's better than 10% of the class graduating with an associate's degree. That's really impressive. So, you know, you read a lot about the negative, but there is so much positive in this school district that it's easy to be a cheerleader for it. So I thank you all for coming, and let's get on with the show.
So next part of, we're going to get to our distinguished alumni in a moment, but part of what we also wanted to do, in addition to honoring those alumni, is also to build up scholarship funds for our current graduates. And so this year, I believe we have 3 graduates who will each be receiving, it's $1,000 each, so we're giving away $3,000. And I believe right now we're up to about $40,000 total, roughly, in funds. And so our goal is to continue to give out more and more and more money each year to our graduates. So the person who has that honor, Ms. Bambi Dillon, my vice president, if she'd come forward, she's going to recognize them.
Good morning and welcome. I have the great privilege to present to you our 2024 scholarship recipients. One is not present today. Taylor Ford was not able to make it. But we have Shane Ramey-Rowland, if you could come up, please, and Emmersyn Nazario. And they're going to say a few words. These 2 young people are 2 of the graduating class with associate's degrees.
Good morning. As she just mentioned, I just graduated from Lorain High School with my associate's degree. I was a part of the football team here at Lorain High School. I was a part of the marching band, the wind ensemble, the concert band. I was a part of Key Club, Pep Club, with the baseball team. Wow, there's a lot. Hold on. I was an LCS mentor, a part of the 2nd and 7 reading club here, where we went and read to elementary school students, so they had the exposure to reading. I went on 3 mission trips while in high school, and I was a part of my churches. Lorain Lighthouse, United Methodist, I was a part of their youth group for 4 or 5 years. I want to thank all of you for your continued support and my education, and I will be attending Gannon University this fall, playing football and studying physical therapy in their 4+3 doctoral program.
Hi, good morning. My name is Emmersyn Nazario. I was a part of the cheer team for basketball and football. I was on the flag team. I was a part of Key Club and Pottery Club. I was also a member of the Community Foundation's Youth Fund. And I also graduated with my associate's degree from Lorain County Community College. I was a Lorain International Princess, representing my Irish heritage. And I think, yeah. And I will be going to Kent State University for fashion merchandising and minoring in PR and fashion media this fall. And I would like to thank the entire Alumni Association for awarding me as one of the recipients for the scholarship. Thank you so much.
One thing I'd like to say to remind you, always remember where you came from, Lorain, Ohio. And if you ever have a chance, come back. Hopefully you will come back and give back to the community that you live in. I think it's very important that we have a lot of people out here. If we could give back to the community we live in, we'd be even more proud. Mayor. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Jay Ferguson, our Master of Ceremonies, to get into to start honoring our 2024 inductee. Jay Ferguson.
Thank you, and once again, welcome. It is my pleasure to stand before you every year and read the names of these distinguished people, since I can't hear. Henry, I'm afraid if I'm holding it, I'm going to break out in song. And people just ate. Is that better? No? Well, we'll go this way. Is that better? No, Melinda said. Hold it close. Okay. I feel like I'm shaving my tonsils now. Angel Lewis Arroyo, Admiral King class of 1970, was born in Puerto Rico and came to Lorain in 1955. Angel was a Spanish-speaking student for most of his youth. With the assistance of Lorain School's extra English courses, Angel became a proficient English speaker. Mrs. Kingsley, a 12th grade English teacher, introduced Angel to many historical books, and he became a finalist in the World History competition for the school. Angel ran track for 4 years and participated in student government. He was elected vice president of his senior class. Angel continued his education by receiving a business administration, finance, and accounting D to Cleveland State University in 1974, a law degree from Cleveland State Marshall Law School in 1977. Angel has always been a strong advocate for Hispanic issues and social justice for all. He was appointed by Governor Rhodes to the Ohio Spanish-Speaking Commission and served as its president at its inception. He was elected to Lorain City Council from 1980 to 88. He is a past president of, pardon my accent, Accio in Latina, a community foundation which provided to the community Hispanic Month cultural awareness at educational and social events, religious activities, and athletic events. He was also a very active member of Sacred Heart Chapel of Lorain as a Eucharist minister, a member of Parish Council, and a mentor in the Marriage Encounters program. Angel coordinated many interactive activities with El Centro, Lorain Schools, LCCC, and was a member of the Rotary Club, Lions Club, JC Club, and board member of many groups such as Lucy Idol and Visiting Nurses. Angel's professional career has always been dedicated to the underserved members of the community. He was the first Puerto Rican attorney to practice in Lorain County when he started with the law firm of Colson, Bradley, and Burge. From 1988 to 2018, he was a federal attorney with the Department of Housing and Urban Development as chief counsel for Ohio Region. Angel has been married to Cookie Arroyo for 43 years. They are the parents of 4 adult children who all are Lorain Schools graduates, Angel Jr., Amelia, Annalisa, and Alex, and they have 6 lovely grandchildren. Please welcome Angel Arroyo to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
Good morning. I am deeply honored and humbled to be recognized today as a distinguished alumni of Lorain City. I would like to express my gratitude to the Lorain City Schools for providing me with the tools and opportunities that have shaped my career. The dedication and passion of the teachers and staff of Lorain Elementary, Whittier, and Lorain High School are the very foundation of my educational journey and personal growth. I would also like to thank my wife, Cookie, for her unwavering encouragement and support. Thank you for being my partner in this journey of life and always being at my side. Thank you to my children, all 4 of you, who are also alumni of Lorain City Schools, for the unique light you each bring to us. We are very proud of each one of you. To my family, especially those who are here today, who have supported me throughout this journey, your belief in me has been a source of strength and inspiration. We never knew what was poor or that we were rich, either way, but we knew we were loved. I would also like to thank Father Bill and my Sacred Heart community for the profound impact you have had in my life. I am grateful to your dedication to my spiritual growth and encouragement to live out my life through service. I know my Holy Spirit is here in this room today. Finally, I am proudly grateful for this recognition and the opportunity to be part of such a distinguished alumni association. Thank you to the selection committee and everyone who has played a role in my journey. This honor is a reminder of where I came from and the importance of community, perseverance, and pursuit of excellence. Thank you.
We'll stick with this. By the way, we have worked on getting the air conditioning turned up. That we have arranged for it to get warmer outside, so you'll think it was nicer in here when you leave. Christopher Harben is a proud graduate of Lorain Catholic High School, class of 1987. As a student of Lorain Catholic, Chris was very active in many committees and activities. During freshman year, he was class president and led a group of students in preparing the homecoming float. It was a wonderful bonding experience that began to make a group of students from many different schools into one class. Chris always said, "We bonded in tissue paper and glue," and the memories began. Other high school accomplishments and leadership included involvement in student government, National Honor Society, soccer before it became an official high school sport, yearbook photographer, and Linus in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown musical during his senior year. His career began in financial services, working his way up to regional vice president with some larger financial service firms. But he knew he had achieved his true calling in life after completing his MBA. He taught at Heidelberg University and Defiance College while pursuing his doctorate. Upon completing his doctorate, Chris was hired as assistant professor of strategy at Lourdes University in Sylvania, Ohio. The following year, he transferred to Bowling Green State University for 3 years. Most recently, he has been teaching at Penn State Erie as an associate professor. Chris has also been active internationally. He is a visiting professor at Rosenheim Technical College in Rosenheim, Germany, where he teaches a master's level course in engineering. Chris is married to his wife, Betsy. Their son, Carson, will be heading to the Air Force this summer. Please welcome Christopher Harben to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm not used to speaking for only 5 minutes, but I have to say something first to the mayor. You know, I'm not a politician, but I remember that joke, and the punchline was about a priest and a politician, not a priest and a lawyer. So, and I think the first rule of politics is not to ostracize people you might need someday. So, keep that in mind. Hopefully the attorneys are more friendly to you. I thought a lot about what I wanted to say today because this is an incredible honor. I haven't been back to Lorain. I'm not from Lorain originally. I was born in Avon Lake, lived in Sheffield Lake, and left Sheffield Lake when I was 8. And I lived in a small town called Van Wert, Ohio. I don't anyone knows Van Wert in northwest Ohio. Small town, idyllic small town. It's the type of town that your mom says, be home before the streetlights are on. And if you weren't home, she would call other mothers who would kick your butt on your way home. I remember when I turned 12, my dad told me, we're moving to Lorain, and I cried. Now, there's a punchline to this story, because the only part of Lorain I knew at that time was my grandmother lived in the trailer park across from Lorain Community Hospital, and then she later went and lived in an old age high-rise by St. Mary's. So I didn't see the best parts of Lorain. The only image of Lorain I ever had was not the greatest, and I was used to the idyllic small town. So I was not happy. But I guess the moral of this story is, how do you deal with these things? I didn't have a choice. I was 12. I wasn't going to say to my dad, well, you go. I'm not. I'm staying here in Van Wert. I think he probably would have said, good luck. See that combine over there? You might be able to camp out underneath it. So I came to Lorain as a new guy, as a new kid. I was 12, and I didn't know anybody. Lived just down the street here on Ashland Avenue, and because St. Peter's was full, I had to go to St. Anthony's, which was weird. For those of you who know anything about Catholic schools, you don't ever hear of a Catholic school being full right now. So I had to bust to St. Anthony's, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of brand new people. Here's where the moral of the story is. This is what impacted me. I came from Van Wert, where it was a pretty homogenous community. We were all a bunch of white people. And I came to Lorain, where it wasn't a bunch of white people, and it was truly the international city. I went to a school where, and people that have grown up here, you know, on the east side, big time Polish influence, Slavic influence. Everyone's last name was Ski, except mine. So they gave me a nickname, Harbensky, so I could feel fit in. But I had, you know, Hoholski, I had Osakowitz, I had Grochaki, all these people in my class. I had every nationality you could think of. And that expanded my horizons. It was incredibly important because now one of the things I do is I teach internationally, I teach international business. We just got back from Germany, and you get this appreciation for different people who aren't. And I think this is one of the things that I think Lorain does really well, is it helps people understand that they're from different backgrounds, but they're not different. I think we do an awful lot of disservice in this world talking about differences and not enough talking about the sameness of people. I think a lot of things could be fixed if we focused on what's the same. But, you know, I'm not elected, so I'm already doing better than the debate last night, so. Sorry, too early? But I wanted, accurate, but too early, right? I wanted to thank you for this honor. It was incredible. And I just wanted to point out something. I ran into a friend of mine from years ago in my past life, Joel Arredondo, who looked at me and was like, the hell are you doing here? Because he knew me before I did anything else. I sold cars with Joel years ago, and he said, so what'd you do after cars? I said, well, Maybe I grew up a little bit, maybe. So thank you again very much for this honor, and I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it.
I've never been to Van Wert, but the Lorain I grew up in, that was the same line, be home before the street lights come on. It was a different time. Dave Herzer is a 1963 graduate of Lorain High School, a 1967 graduate of Yale University, and a 1970 graduate of Harvard Law School. During his high school career, Dave earned 2 varsity letters in football and 2 varsity letters in baseball, was awarded the Danny Award for academics and athletics. Dave's extracurricular activities included being a member and then president of the debate team. They won a regional championship, and a member of the a cappella choir, the Choraliers, and the operetta. Dave was tied for first in the class academically and was a member of the National Honor Society. You were tied. Where'd the other person go to school? Additionally, he was elected president of his class and voted most likely to succeed. At Yale, he graduated magna cum laude and was a member of Phi Beta Kappa. David also played 3 years of football and 4 years of baseball. He was elected to the Omicron Delta Epsilon National Economics Honor Society and was awarded the Marshall Scholarship to study for 2 years at the London School of Economics. He turned down this scholarship to attend law school. Upon graduation, David Herzer founded Wickens Herzer Panza Law Firm. As its president and CEO until 2012, he built the firm into the largest law firm in Lorain County. He presently serves as counsel to the firm. The firm has grown to 30 lawyers and 75 employees. Dave has argued before the United States Supreme Court and on 3 occasions before the Ohio Supreme Court. In 1978, he was designated by the Lorain Journal as one of Lorain County's super lawyers. Dave married the love of his life, Sharon Gerber, in 1966. The Herzers have 2 children, a son, David Jr., and a daughter, Marnie. They have 2 grandchildren. The Herzers now spend much of their time on charitable efforts. Please welcome Dave Herzer to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
You know, after all that, I still feel kind of inadequate to the 2 students that were awarded the scholarships. Congratulations to them. Can you all hear me? Well, like everyone else, I want to thank the committee. I want to thank Tom Elcisco. I want to thank Sue Bailica for all the work that they have done for this group and for me personally in allowing me to be part of this hallowed group. Congratulations to all the current inductees. Congratulations to all the past inductees that are here too. And I want to thank those at my table that came here to support me. Pat Morrison, a past inductee, John Morrison, Ben Norton, and Jeff Andrews. Thank you very much for coming. It's quite an honor to be here with all the rest of you. But the bios that are in your book leave out some rather significant things about some of your inductees. And I'm going to tell you a story about one of them that I'm sure didn't make it into the bio, but I think it's very, very important. I'm going to talk about Judge Jim Miraldi here. Or because I, Jack Bradley, and others are in the bar, we're compelled to call him Your Honor. So this is going to be a little story, didn't make the bio, but about His Honor. Many years ago, His Honor and I, one other person from Lorain, went to Cleveland Indians fantasy camp. It was a wonderful experience. Jim and I and the other person from Lorain, Jack Godry, by the way, some of you may know him, physical therapist, were on the same team. Jim was designated to be in the outfield. He was put out there for a particular reason, and that was to avoid all contact with the baseball. He did a good job of that, except for on one occasion. Remember, we're playing on the same team. A fella got up, and hit a rocket line drive. Joel, you know about stuff like this. A rocket line drive. It was one of these things that didn't go above 6 feet when it left the bat, and it shot out into the outfield where Jim was strategically placed earlier. That ball was coming right at him. Shot, like I said, like a rocket. Jim did what any other person would have done who was in that situation. He ran for his life. As he veered left, that doggone ball tracked him left. As he veered right, that doggone ball tracked him right, going right. Finally, the ball was upon him. And in self-preservation, Jim stuck out the glove, and the ball landed right in it. I want a round of applause for this guy. Of all the years that I've played baseball, I was privileged to play it at the collegiate level and at the high school level and in the summers. I had never been on the field with a better catch. Jim took the ball, came trotting in with a smug look on his face, tipped his hat to the fans, went and sat down on the bench and started to cry. If you leaf through your booklet there, I doubt whether you find that but I thought it was significant. It was important. We talked about Lorain High School, Lorain City, and its roots. And a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of hooking up with another one of my classmates who's in Vancouver, Canada. She is Pat Morrison's sister, Martha Cook Piper, a real rock star, by the way, who ought to be part of this group. She just retired about 5-6 years ago, remember, from Lorain High School now, as the president of the University of British Columbia. 60,000 students. First woman president of a major Canadian university. First non-Canadian president of a Canadian university. And has a fountain in the middle of the campus dedicated to her, Martha Cook Piper, Lorain High School grad. And we went out there with a couple other of our grads, and we reminisced about what it was like to be from Lorain, Ohio, and the Lorain school system. And it was absolutely amazing at the commonalities that we had. No matter what these people have done, like Martha, like others, like His Honor, the fact of the matter is we're all Lorainites, and there's something good, decent, and fundamental about that. It doesn't leave you, whether you remain in Lorain, Cleveland, Vancouver, it's all a part of you. So I thank the committee again and all of you for being here today. It is truly an honor.
Megan Kelley is a 1997 graduate of Admiral King High School. When Lorain High School became a junior high, she had the unique experience of attending the original Lorain High School, then the first 2 years of the newly combined Lorain Admiral King High School. Some of Megan's high school experience include class salutatorian, varsity soccer and softball, percussionist in the marching and concert bands, show choir, National Honor Society, and student council. Megan earned her Bachelor of Arts degree from The Ohio State University, graduating summa cum laude in 2001. During undergraduate studies, she held leadership positions in several of active student organizations, including serving as Director of Student Governor and Editor-in-Chief of the undergraduate art and literature magazine, The Mosaic. Megan received her Juris Doctor in 2006 from the Moritz College of Law. While in law school, Megan had the unique experience of studying Comparative Legal Studies program at Oxford University in Oxford, England. In 2004, that was. Before that, she studied in the English and Irish literature programs at Bath Spa University, Bath, England, in 2000. Immediately following college, Megan worked for 2 years in the Ohio legislature. These early years of her legal career were focused on honing her skills as a litigator and honoring her commitment to social justice issues. In 2012, this commitment took Megan to the nonprofit sector. She was a contributor to the efforts to advance equitable housing and healthcare resources for older adults. In 2016, Megan was appointed by the governor to serve a 6-year term on the Ohio Ethics Commission. The 6-person bipartisan commission is tasked with enforcing Ohio's ethics laws and regulations. Currently, Megan is serving her 2nd term. She has founded a successful law firm and legal practice focusing on election law and civil litigation. That could keep you busy these days. Megan is married to Todd Perry, and they have 3 children, Brady, Harper, and Colin. Megan is the proud sister to Chris, Katie, Connie, and Mary. Megan stated she owes much of her success to her siblings' undying love and support. Please welcome Megan Kelley to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
Good morning. It's so good to be home. Can you hear me? Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Can I call you Jay now? Okay. You know, I've got to say, being here, it's impossible not to kind of have flashbacks to the spring of 1997, my senior year, when I narrowly lost Most Likely to Succeed in my senior class, but then also went on to lose first in my class valedictorian by 100th of a point. And I've got to say, I was feeling a little bit better about that based on this award until I had to get up here after David Herzer and hearing all of his amazing accomplishments, including those specific awards. But in all seriousness, I'm so honored to be here today. Like I said, it's wonderful to be home. I'm so excited to be here with my family and my amazing siblings. I've been reflecting a lot in recent weeks in preparation for this day on my time in Lorain schools, and it's really impossible not to think about how this place and its people impacted who I became and the path that my life took. One of my personal literary heroes, fellow Lorain native Toni Morrison, once said, "In my work, no matter where it's set, the imaginative process always starts right here on the lip of Lake Erie." And those words have always resonated with me. Similarly, the spirit of Lorain, I would say, is woven into the very fabric of my being and all the work that I do as a professional, a mother, wife, sister, citizen, and attorney. The good kind, Mayor Bradley. As was alluded in my bio, my experience in the Lorain school system was a bit unique, and I really don't consider myself an alumni or a product of any one school because honestly, I went to so many of them. Unfortunately, all of them, I think, are now a memory. And have been replaced with beautiful new schools. But I started my early elementary years at Emmersyn on the east side of Lorain, if anyone remembers Emmersyn on the lake. Then off to Hawthorne Academy, as was referenced earlier, over on the west side. Then to Irving Junior High, the original Lorain High School, until 2 years later when I finally finished out high school at Admiral King, here where we stand today. But not only that, I also spent countless days and hours practicing youth sports on the blacktop outside of St. Anthony's Church on the east side before they had a gymnasium. Countless Saturdays playing youth basketball in the gym at Lorain St. Mary's, where my parents graduated from. I ran wild at all of my brother Chris's sporting events at Lorain Catholic, a school and a football field, mind you, that my father, John Kelley, and my uncle, Patrick Kelley, claim to have built themselves by hand. I knew the nooks and the crannies of the original Lorain High School years before I ever stepped in as a student, from, again, running wild during my sister's basketball and volleyball games, where the ticket takers simply knew me as a Kelley girl. I carry little pieces of these places with me today, and I would say I'm a product of all of them. Now that I have my own children, I've experienced firsthand the truth in the adage that it takes a village to raise a child. No one would have been more proud or excited about this award than our late parents, John and Rosemary Kelley, graduates, as I said, of Lorain St. Mary's class of 1959. And they were number 1 and number 2 in my village, but beyond them, I never had to look far to find a much more far-reaching village and community that was supporting me and really laid the foundation for who I would become. In honor of my late parents, just a few words about them. Some of you may have known my dad, John Kelley, sold sporting goods for Coal Myers all across Lorain and beyond. No one was prouder of me, believed in me more, liked to brag about me more, to everyone that would listen, more than my dad. When I was only in the 2nd grade and when they were creating the magnet program in the Lorain schools, my dad fought to secure me a spot in that new program over at Hawthorne Academy. And I would say that the first class instruction, mentorship, and creative development I got in that program in my early formative years has been among the most critical of my life. My dad's pep talks could pull me out of the deepest of self-doubt. He would always say to me, if you can't outsmart them, outwork them. And especially when I was stricken with imposter syndrome as, a young girl from Lorain might going out there in the world and going to law school and trying to forge a career in the law. Give him hell, Meg, he'd say at the end of every conversation. And my dear sweet mother, Rosemary, some of you also may have known her, quietly instilled in me the importance of education as a ticket to freedom, autonomy, and having choice in my own destiny in a way that she didn't always have. She was always my soft place to fall, and while I was always chasing perfection, she was always quick to tell me that my best was always good enough, even if not perfect. And when our parents couldn't be there, I had, and still have, 4 amazing siblings to stand in as surrogate parents, mentors, friends, protectors, and confidants who have been there with me literally every step of the way. The lessons I've learned from each one of them, individually and collectively, are immeasurable, and I wouldn't be who I am without them. Chris, Katie, Connie, and Mary, thank you for your endless love and support, for always picking me up when I fall and dusting me off. But my village didn't end there. My teachers, school administrators, coaches, friends, and their families formed a community around me where I always felt cared for and supported, some of whom are in this room. Ferguson, the whole Rositano family, and not less of whom Mr. Tom El Cisco, my high school English teacher. Mr. El Cisco took my love of words and stories and writing and showed me how to discover greater meaning and life lessons beneath the page. Oh, goodness. It's the ice cream truck. It's time for dessert, everyone. Make your way to the door. No, I'll just go ahead. Mr. El Cisco, not only that, taught me how to think critically, how to write properly and persuasively, which, as you can imagine, comes in really handy in a legal career. The skills he taught me have been the foundation of my success at each and every stage of my career. Thank you, Mr. El Cisco. I also suspect he might have had something to do with me being here today, so thank you. I'd also like to echo the sentiments of another hero of my youth, Snoop Dogg, who recently said, when receiving his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'd like to thank me for believing in me. I'd like to thank me for never quitting. And in all seriousness, I'm really not that egotistical, but when I look back, I really do marvel at the young girl who is so determined and focused on doing the work day in and day out to achieve her dreams. A girl that plotted her path years in advance and somehow, despite some detours, found her way. We still have a ways to go, but I want to tell that girl that I am so proud of her. And lastly, I'd like to thank my husband, Todd, who has always supported me on this path and this journey that hasn't always been linear or easy, especially when it involves him watching our 3 young kids or doing dishes or other things so I can continue building my career while also having a family. Without him, that wouldn't be possible. So thank you again. It is so wonderful to be home, and this honor means the world to me.
For those of you in other careers, you don't get to experience that feeling. The feeling that a teacher gets when they see a student from a class go on to become the success that we knew that she would. Congratulations, Meg. Joanna Lopez Inman is a 2004 graduate of Admiral King High School. During her time at Admiral King, Joanna embraced opportunities to grow and develop her skills, leaving a lasting impact on our school community. In Ms. Flensky's telecommunications class, Joanna discovered her passion for creativity and risk-taking, ultimately penning a script worthy of a Lifetime movie network. Joanna's dedication extended beyond the classroom as she excelled in track and field, played on the soccer team, and participated in Student Council, Senior Committee, and National Honor Society. A highlight of her high school career was participating in the 2003 International Festival pageant, proudly representing the Puerto Rican community. After graduating from Admiral King, Joanna's thirst for knowledge led her to Case Western Reserve University, where she earned a bachelor's degree. Determined to make a difference, she pursued her Juris Doctor's degree at Cleveland State University College of Law. Armed with education and a passion for justice, Joanna served as an assistant prosecutor for the city of Cleveland before becoming an assistant prosecuting attorney for Cuyahoga County. After nearly 8 years as a prosecutor, Joanna was appointed as magistrate for the Cleveland Municipal Court, where she served for 3 years before transitioning to her current role as a magistrate in the Cleveland Housing Court. Joanna's dedication extends far beyond her professional life. She actually serves on school boards for the Intergenerational School, Lakeshore Intergenerational School, and Near West Side Intergenerational School, as a board member for Catholic Charities and the National Congress of Black Women, Greater Cleveland Chapter. Joanna tirelessly works to uplift and empower her community. She has also generously volunteered her time at the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. Joanna's accomplishments are a testament to the values and skills she developed during her time at Admiral King High School. Together with her husband Ramsey and their children, Ace and, Analia, Joanna continues to make Cleveland a better place for all. Please welcome Joanna Inman to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame. Help her.
Good morning. I'm sorry. I'm lost. I'm truly humbled and still a bit surprised to be standing here today, accepting this incredible honor. I was known as J-Lo when I was in school, named by my 8th grade civics teacher, Mr. McConaughey, and it stuck. Now I stand here before you as Joanna Lopez Inman, and it's hard to believe that I'm old enough to receive this distinguished award. As a millennial, I often find myself being the youngest in many of the community organizations that I'm involved with. This is the perfect moment to thank the National Congress of Black Women. Pam Mason is here as a representative. Reflecting on my own journey, I realized how much my early education shaped me from the time in Head Start, Washington Elementary School, Lowell Academy. Then for a little bit, I went to Puerto Rico and studied there for a few years, came back to Lorain Middle School, and then graduated from Lorain High School. Those are some of my fondest memories. My teachers, alongside my mom, who was my first and most dedicated teacher, ensured I overcame my initial struggles with literacy and nurtured my love for learning. Their support helped me graduate near the top of my class, gain acceptance into Case Western Reserve University, and eventually attend CSU College of Law. And I also want to thank Counselor Tom L. Cisco, because he was very important in regards to me being able to visit those schools and making sure that I knew of all the different opportunities I could gain outside of Lorain. I owe a debt of gratitude to every educator who guided me: Mrs. Ruth, Mrs. Clark, Mr. Clark, Mr. McConaughey, Mrs. Winnan, Mr. and Mrs. Felinski, Mr. Jones, and Mrs. Llewellyn, just to name a few. And also Mr. Demakia, who those computer skills that we learned in school never went away. Without their dedication and encouragement, I wouldn't be who I am today. They made me a lifelong learner and instilled in me the desire to give back and to be a public servant. Though I initially aspired to be a teacher and later considered becoming the governor of Puerto Rico, my passion for working and students never waned. I've tutored, mentored, and taught in various capacities, often as a volunteer. Today I serve on the school boards for the intergenerational schools, working alongside teachers who remind me of those who influenced me when I was a student. Thank you for this tremendous honor. And I also want to thank my husband, Ramsey Inman, also an educator. So while I didn't become one, I married one. And I also have my son, Ace, here, and Ana Leah, and I'm hoping that they're proud of me and understand that from here on out, when I nag them about education, this is why. And I also want to say thank you to Mrs. Tamika Bonilla, who nominated me for this award. When she first told me about it, I was really surprised. And then I was even more surprised when they actually said I got it. So congratulations to all of the other recipients, and especially Mr. Arroyo, who was actually probably the first lawyer I actually knew. So thank you.
Jim Miraldi graduated from Lorain High School in 1969. Jim wrestled for 2 years and played on the freshman football team. He said he vastly overestimated his athletic abilities. I think we heard testament to that. He enjoyed music and had roles in both the light opera and the operetta at Lorain High. He was elected senior class president, was a member of the National Honor Society and the Student Council. He was also voted by his classmates as friendliest and most likely to succeed. Jim's senior year, he helped a band form with other classmates, Dale Pinsera, Lisa Friedman, Kathy McCord, and Vicki Hope. They performed for an assembly one morning in the gym before school. Jim's classmates, they said they expected them to be lousy. Instead, they enjoyed it and enthusiastically congratulated and encouraged the group. Jim continued his education by attending the College of Worcester, where he received a BA in 1973, was awarded Phi Beta Kappa for academic excellence. In 1977, Jim received his Juris Doctor in the Order of Croix for academic excellence from Duke University. Upon graduation, Jim practiced law in the firm Miraldi and Barrett, which was begun by his father, Ray Miraldi. Presently, Jim is a judge in the Lorain County Common Pleas Court. He is serving as chairperson of the Community Corrections Board for Lorain County and judge of Lorain County Wellness Court, assisting defendants with severe mental illness. Jim was a member of the District Board of Trustees for Lorain Community College, serving as chairman of the board for 10 years. He is currently serving as one of 3 vice chairpersons for the Lorain Community College Foundation. He is married to Marilyn Zeidner. He was previously married to Karen Konechis, who is the mother of his 2 children, Michael, 33, and Olivia. Jim still has a band to raise money for charity, primarily for a nonprofit, Music on a Mission. Jim and his friends have restored an old barn with many of his high school acquaintances and converted it into a performance center they have named Barnegie Hall. Please welcome Jim Miraldi to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
I knew Jay and his father, who was my scoutmaster, and then they umpired many softball games when I was in a church league. So it's great to see Jay and be here among you. I want to thank the committee, Tom Elsisco, for nominating me, and for all the people that have supported me. It was just wonderful to see teachers here that I have the fondest memories and love in my heart. Mr. Riddle, Mr. Herman, Mr. Bauer, I see sitting here. Although I don't believe I was in any of their classes, they still were supportive, and people who I knew and after I left high school continued to support me. I had the best education, and I have this great sense of gratitude for what they did for me and encouraged me. You already know the highlight of my life. Dave Herzer's told the story. So after that, it's a little bit downhill. You know, I'm not going to talk about myself. At this point, I'm going to talk about, I was supposedly honored because of my contributions in the field of law and jurisprudence and as a judge. And sometimes if we're silent about things, then we're complicit. So I want to talk about the judicial system for a moment. I've been a trial lawyer for 18 years, and I get a chance to talk to jurors before the trial, as I encourage them to take the responsibility seriously, which I find they do. And then after a trial, to go back and talk to the jurors and kind of have a little discussion to talk about their experience. And what I have learned is that jurors take their job very seriously. They dedicate themselves to follow the instructions of law and listen to the evidence. I have learned from seeing some descriptions of results in cases in the media sometimes which don't make it sound like the juries went off the rails and did something. And usually when I say that, I think something's missing here in this story, because the jurors that I talk to hear all the evidence and they make good decisions. I could say I don't always agree with the decisions a jury makes, but really that's not true. In talking to jurors after trials, the descriptions of what motivated them or how they analyzed the facts and how they applied the law has been astounding. In criminal cases, there are 12 jurors, and in civil cases, 8. But nevertheless, groups of people come together, citizens out of the community, like all of you. And you put your common sense together and experiences together to evaluate the evidence and the credibility of the witnesses and make a decision based upon the law, the instructions given, and their review of the facts. I tried cases as a trial lawyer for close to 20-some years, more than that actually, 29 years. I didn't win every case. I wish I had, but that's unrealistic. However, even when I lost a case, I could understand why the jury did not agree with my client's position. The system worked. And when I hear people say that the system is corrupt, that jurors are corrupt, that judges are corrupt, usually that means the person couldn't win the case based upon the evidence and the law. I'll just say that. I'm not making any political statement, but I think we should respect the judicial system, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud of the education that led me to the position of which I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to serve. I retire at the end of this year, and I look forward to retirement and still giving back to my community in any way I can think of, maybe through continued work with Music on a Mission with my wife, Marilyn, providing music services to autistic children, to veterans, seniors, and having an impact in the community in that way. But I thank all of you. I thank Tom Elsisco again for nominating me. Tom, you had a lot of roles for a lot of people here, but I appreciate it. I love the teachers that I had at Lorain High. I love those that I see here today. It's a very moving time for me when I think of how lucky I have been to have a good family, a good community, and a wonderful education. Thank you for this honor. I have no idea who this guy is.
I used to know him. Pam Reber Jones was born and raised in Lorain. In 1984, she graduated from Lorain Catholic High School, where she participated in cheerleading, track, concert choir, and student council. One of the aspects of Lorain Catholic that Pam cherished the most was the close-knit community and supportive environment that the small school offered. And she attributes that to having played a significant role in shaping her future aspirations. Pam's decision to pursue a career in funeral services was inspired by a class she took in high school. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Mortuary Science in 1988 from the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science. Following graduation, she completed an apprenticeship at Dovin Funeral Home in Lorain, which ultimately led her to Cleveland, where she worked for Toman and Sons Funeral Home for 19 years. She has been a licensed funeral director and embalmer for 35 years. In 2007, Pam moved her career forward and partnered with John Dovin to establish the Dovin Reber Jones Funeral and Cremation Center. The center opened in 2009, beginning a new chapter in her professional journey. Pam has a passion not only for her career, but for her community. Her commitment to those she served goes above and beyond and does not end with a given day. She instills her values in her staff, and in turn, they all care for the community they serve. Pam's passion and commitment earned her the honor of being named the National Funeral Director of the Year 2021 runner-up. Outside of her professional commitments, Pam has served as a board member for Lorain County Community Foundation's Women's Fund and a member of Amherst Rotary and an active member of St. Joseph Catholic Church in Amherst, where she is an Eucharistic minister who distributes communion to the homebound. She is also an alumna of Lorain County Leadership Class of 2011. Pam has been happily married to Bill Jones for 24 years. If I were cynical, I'd ask how many years in total. They have two sons, Austin, 23, and Cole, 21. She is known to be one of the hardest working people who does it all with a smile, kindness, and grace. Please welcome Pam Reber Jones to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
I am truly humbled and honored to be here today. It was such a surprise. I am blessed to be part of Lorain, Ohio. I am so glad I was born and raised here. The friendships that I've developed, the people that were so integral part of my life, I don't know where else I would have gotten it but Lorain, Ohio. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my education at Lorain Catholic High School. Because of the education I got and the teachers that were such an integral part of my life, I was able to follow my dream and to become a funeral director. I was gone for about 19, 20 years in Cleveland, but it was always my wish to come back to Lorain. And I'm so grateful that I am. I see so many faces out here today of however I've met you, through high school, through growing up, through taking care of your family, through my business. So I'm honored, I'm grateful, and thankful. So thank you.
Terah Robbin Webb is a 1994 graduate of Lorain High School. During her time there, she lettered in volleyball and was president of the French Club and was a member of National Honor Society. After high school, Terah attended the College of Worcester, where she majored in biochemistry and graduated with honors for her independent study on protein and water content in canine corneas. She attended the Ohio State University College of Veterinary Medicine, obtaining her doctorate of veterinarian medicine in 2002. While at OSU, Terah continued ophthalmic research and co-authored her first peer-reviewed article on the effects of topical glaucoma in therapy in horses. I edited out all the hard words. After veterinary school, she matched at Carolina Veterinary Specialist to complete a rotating medical and surgical specialty internship and went on to complete a combined 3-year residency in comparative ophthalmology at The Ohio State University and MedVet. She has since stayed on as a clinician at MedVet Medical and Cancer Center for Pets in Worthington, Ohio. Professionally, Terah has played a key role in a variety of veterinary ophthalmology, including the use of aldose reductase inhibitors in the prevention of diabetic cataracts in dogs. Terah, along with a colleague at MetVed, were the first veterinarians in the world to adapt the endolaser, a human intraocular glaucoma laser treatment for use in animals, and is considered a leading expert in the procedure. Most recently, she was featured as a lecturer at the American College of Veterinary Ophthalmology annual conference on the topic. Terah has been primary or supporting author on more than 15 peer-reviewed published articles across numerous veterinary journals and travels nationally and internationally to provide continuing education in ophthalmology to general practitioners at veterinary conferences. Terah currently resides in Lewis Center, Ohio, with her husband Brad, son Graham, and their two mini Australian Labradoodles, Max and Clark. While not busy with ophthalmology, she loves to travel with her family to experience food and culture around the world. Please welcome Terah Robbin Webb to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
Well, I wish I would have been the one to go first. I get to follow behind attorneys, lawyers that public speak every day. I talk to dogs and cats who don't talk back to me. So this won't be filled with any, great stories, but just thank you for having me today. I'm very honored to be here. Like everyone else, I owe gratitude to whomever nominated me and the committee for electing me to receive this honor. I want to start by thanking my family. I was born here in Lorain on the east side to Rich and Ellen Robbin, both educators. My dad once taught in the 70s at Admiral King, but then later put in 35 years at Vermilion High School until retirement. My parents knew the value of education and pushed me and my brothers to always meet our potential. There was no other outcome to imagine. While in it, you feel like you're just going to school. But now, as an adult raising a son in public schools of a Columbus suburb, I realized that from foreign language starting in 6th grade at Hawthorne Academy, my education in Lorain was well thought out and well executed. Teachers always pushed us to take the harder classes, do independent studies, always be your best. My husband, Brad, and son, Graham, are here today. Thank you both for putting up with my crazy schedule and all my pursuits in ophthalmology. I truly feel like I'm living my best life. Thank you. So again, thank you everyone for the honor today, and it's a pleasure to be here.
David Rositano is a 1974 graduate of Admiral King High School. During his years at Admiral King, Dave was well known for his academic prowess and was a member of National Honor Society, finishing 4th out of 411 in his class. Dave's dedication to excellence extended beyond the classroom as he earned letters in football, basketball, and baseball and track, and met his future wife, Loretta, in high school, with whom he was married for 44 years. After graduating from Admiral King, David's pursuit of knowledge led him to Denison University. I was there ahead of you, and there was no knowledge there. And he graduated in 1978. At Denison, he played varsity baseball and served as a student athletic trainer for varsity athletics. His passion for helping others then guided him to attend Ohio State University School of Dentistry, where he earned his dental degree in 1983. Following graduation, Dave was a practicing dentist for 39 years in Lorain, retiring in 2022. He was named Lorain County's best dentist in a Lorain Journal poll and listed in the National Register of Who's Who among professionals. Dave's love of sports and mentorship continued long after his high school days. As a coach, he's made a lasting impact on countless young lives as he coached at Lorain High School basketball, Admiral King basketball and baseball, Southview baseball, Amherst Steel baseball and basketball, and while coaching baseball, his teams have won 3 conference championships and made 3 state regional appearances and were named state pole champions in 2018. He is the author of High School Baseball, How to Create and Run a Winning Program. Dave is also the recipient of the Amherst Board of Education Crystal Apple Award for outstanding volunteer service to the Amherst School District. He was inducted into the Amherst Sports Hall of Fame in 2024, cementing his legacy as a true leader and role model. Now retired and residing in Lorain, Dave Rositano's journey from Admiral King to become the father of two, grandfather of one, dentist, coach, author, community leader, serves as an inspiration to us all. His unwavering commitment to excellence, both in his personal and professional life, exemplifies the values we hold dear as alumni of Lorain schools. Please welcome Dave Rositano to the Alumni Association Hall of Fame. He hurt his back.
As a matter of fact, I'd like to make a suggestion to the committee. I'm looking out over the crowd, and I think we, instead of lawyers, maybe we should start inducting chiropractors, or at least have a life care person on site. I am not as eloquent as the lawyers, like Terah. We talk to people that don't talk back. She has an excuse because they can't talk back. They don't talk back to me because they have four hands in their mouths. So I talk to people that never talk back to me either. Like Megan mentioned, it does take a village to raise a child, and my village is sitting right there at that table. Without them, I couldn't have accomplished anything that I have in my life. Unfortunately, there are two people that are probably the most important part of my village, and that is my mom and my wife, who are no longer with us. And I'm sure if they were here, they would tell me how proud they are of me. And I would tell them, you know what, how proud I am of them and my village for the direction, the support, and the love that they've given me. I couldn't have done, I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for them. It's not buildings. You could have a one-room thing. It's people. And that's who I'm thankful for, people and my village. I want to thank the committee for, this is just an honor and a privilege to be mentioned with these people. And again, I challenge anyone to say, if they question Lorain City Schools, have them look at the past and the present inductees into this association, and I guarantee they will be impressed. So again, thank you very much.
Now time to speak about a couple of distinguished Lorain educators. Cynthia Jarzen graduated from Avon Lake High School in 1958. Although she did not attend Lorain City Schools, it was a graduate of Lorain Schools who inspired her to become a teacher. Mrs. Mary Molnar, who later became her friend, was her commercial teacher and told Cynthia she had to teach. Cynthia said that was life-changing and also one of her fondest memories from high school. While at Avon Lake, she participated in Honor Society, Quill and Scroll, Girls Athletic Association, art director of the Bard Literary Magazine, and Scholastic Art. Cynthia then earned her bachelor's degree in education from Kent State and her master's degree in supervision and administration from Baldwin Wallace. She obtained her gifted education certification from Cleveland State. Cynthia also took non-degree classes from Cleveland Institute of Art, as well as the Mastery Learning Program at Jane Lindsay School in Lorain. Cynthia says, as teachers, we do not always know of our successes and accomplishments, and that she only hopes she has made some small contribution to the lives of the students in her care. She says that she knows the students definitely have contributed to hers. Cynthia played a large role in the desegregation of Lorain schools, developing and supervising the academic magnet program for academically gifted and talented students all over the city. The program was showcased at a national conference at Kent State. She believes the program did some good. I think we've heard today that the program did more than some good, and I can testify as a teacher in that program for a year that that program was Cynthia Jarzen. Cynthia was named a Jennings Scholar while teaching in Lorain and is a member of Phi Delta Kappa and Kappa Delta Pi, both education honor societies. She has published articles in Instructor and Ohio Schools magazine. After retirement, she was asked to work with student teachers at Ashland University at LCC. She loves traveling both in the States and abroad. One of her most memorable trips was to Eastern Europe during the Cold War. And she says, give the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you. Please welcome Cynthia Jarzen to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
I see that I am the eldest of the inductees today. In fact, Terah and Megan and Henry Patterson were, as they mentioned, you didn't hear from him, but they were all Hawthorne Academy students. So this morning, I want to take full credit for their success. Really, this is one of the nicest things that's ever happened to me. And so thank you very much, Alumni Association, Henry Patterson, Sue Bailika, and all who worked to put this lovely event together today. Thank you also, Linda Irwin, wonderful, wonderful kindergarten teacher who nominated me. I really appreciate it. I'm truly humbled, honored and humbled at the same time. Humbled because I really feel that Lorain has done more for me than I've done for Lorain. When I came here, I was not a brand new teacher. I had taught at St. Joseph's School in Avon Lake. In fact, my good friend, Sister Paulette, is sitting here. We taught 62 years ago, actually, we started teaching at St. Joseph's. And when I came here, I felt like a brand new teacher because there are different challenges, as you know, between private schools and public schools. Challenges of a different nature. But I found that the challenges seemed always to have happy endings. I really love being here teaching in Lorain. The parents, the children I worked with, their parents, my colleagues over the years have really taught me. And they have really enriched my life immeasurably. And I see so many folks out here. I love you. And I love my three brothers and their wives who are here today too. I really appreciate your support. I've been blessed here in Lorain, and I'm very, very grateful. When I told my brothers that I was going to be receiving this award today, one of them, one of them said, "Sounds like a scam to me." and another one said, "How much did you have to pay for this?" So I'm really happy to say this morning that there's no scam. I paid nothing, and excuse me, and this is for real. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you, sweet Lorain. Thank you so much. Good to see you too. I worked your day.
William Bill Kingsley attended Lorain City Schools from kindergarten till graduation in 1965. While attending Lorain High School, Bill played varsity basketball and was a net member of National Honor Society. Bill earned a degree from Bowling Green University and his master's degree in history from Xavier University. Bill began his teaching career in 1969 at Southview, but it then was cut short by being drafted. He was honorably discharged from the Army in 1972. He returned to Lorain City Schools for the next 30 years. Not only was Bill an English teacher at Hawthorne and then Lorain High, as well as a history teacher at Lorain High, after 18 years in the classroom, Bill became a principal. He completed his educational career as the principal at Admiral King High School. Bill was the sole Lorain teacher selected to work with Bendix Corporation one summer. The goal was to understand how business decisions were made. The state of Ohio awarded a plaque to 2 Lorain City Schools teachers for their positive contributions. Bill was the secondary award winner. Bill was selected by the central office to be observed by John Cole, then editor of the Morning Journal. An article entitled Creature, a Teacher, a John Cole editorial, outlined Bill's day and not only his duties, but heaped praise on him for his interactions as a teacher with students. Another recognition occurred when Bill was presented a plaque by the Lorain Association of Black Educators. Bill's tenure in education always put Lorain and Lorain City Schools in a positive light. Bill met his wife Joy in 10th grade at Lorain High School. They have been married for 55 years. The Kingsleys have 2 sons and 4 grandchildren and currently reside in Florida. Bill was planning on attending this morning till a health setback prevented that from happening. He asked me to send his regards. He has fond memories of Lorain. We have spoken often, although not recently. And you heard somebody reference Mrs. Kingsley in their speech. That was his mom, and she was my favorite teacher when I was at Lorain schools. So just being an English teacher ran in the family. Bill was a wonderful educator, and Lorain was fortunate to have him. So on his behalf, I say thank you. He was also 12 when this picture was taken. That concludes our program for this morning. I want to thank you all for coming. This event I seem to think it gets better every year, and that's largely due to the quality of the people that we are fortunate to honor. Also, I'd like to take a minute to make a couple of requests. We can only honor people who are nominated. So if you know someone, if you go to the Lorain Schools website, there is a link for the Lorain Alumni Association and a nomination form. We would love to have more input. Tom Ilsisko joined us this year, and his input brought we were talking before the breakfast, a whole different realm of people into the mix. And if you'd like to join us, we are also always looking for people to join the committee. We only meet about 10 times a year, 6 of them in May. We would love to have you, but at this point, thank you all very much for coming, and have a wonderful day. And it looks like the humidity has started to puddle out there.
One last, if we could, if the honorees would gather by, there's at Lorain High, whatever background, we'll get a picture together over there. So again, if the honorees would gather over there so we can get a few pictures. Again, thank you so much, and drive home safely.